1, 2. Oh my god, I hate you, OBS. Why do you do this to me? You randomly, out of nowhere, decide that I no longer know what microphone you're using. I'm going to use the default, which is nothing. And all I can do is look at my Stream Deck and see if I'm muted. And I'm not muted in Stream Deck. But OBS says, no, I don't know. There is a microphone. I don't know where it is, but I'm going to use this one. It doesn't work. Oh my god. Okay. That is my rant of the day. Thank you so much, Jader, for saving my life today. I would have not noticed until it was too late. Now it's okay. Thank you. Jesus freaking Christ. I swear, OBS is just... Anyway, as I was saying into the void, today I switched to PHPStorm. I'm finally doing it. I've been using Cursor. I've been using VS Code for the longest time. I find it that as of recently, it doesn't spark joy in my development process. It's more getting in the way than helping me sometimes. I don't know at what point it happened, but I feel like we are at that point. So I switched to Cursor to use all of the AI thingies, and it was good for a while. But if I want to use the pro version of that and not be limited to a handful of code completions per month, I have to pay $24 a month for the IDE. And I decided if I'm going to do that, I might as well just pay for PHPStorm with Laravel IDEA, and that amounts to maybe, I think, $15 a month. So it's still cheaper, and I get the de facto IDE that pretty much everyone in the Laravel community uses, except for Alex Sintek, which uses Vim, so he's the cool guy. That's fine, but he uses NeoVim. But pretty much everyone else uses PHPStorm. So I will be joining that club today. So I'm going to switch to my working station. I'm going to switch to Mac because that's where I work. And that is where I am going to install PHPStorm. One moment. I gotta close a few windows first. Hey Z Films, how you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. How about you? How's your week going so far? Okay, I think we're good. Switching to here. Whoop. Okay. Oh, this thing is doing... You can't see it, but it's like doing that thing. I don't like it how it looks on camera, so I just do... Where's the blue one? No, that's not it. Yes, that's good. Okay, I think the first step... A little tired? I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that. But hey, nothing that a good nap or a good night's sleep can't fix, right? So yeah, for individual use, you can get PHP, Storm, and well, you can actually get everything with AI Pro, Power Companion. That's 19. No, I'm not gonna choose that. I'm just gonna do this and then install the Laravel IDEA plugin. Maybe later I will add AI, but I feel like AI was also getting in the way sometimes. Please provide an email address where you should send you a license or an existing subscription packet reference. My email is not secret, so. We're gonna get ads in just a second. I said next. Yeah, I've used VS Code as well for the longest time as my editor, but I feel like I need a change, you know. I have not purchased anything with them, so I have read and accept. Proceed as new customer. All right, ads. Oh, I don't have. That's funny. Hold on. Forgot to turn on streamer bot, so there is no ad layout, even though we are in ads. One moment. Okay, fine. All right, we should be good now. Oh, but it's not gonna go away on its own, so ads are gone. And let me hide this myself. There we go. All right, PHPStorm personal monthly subscription, $9 a month, $10 a month, basically. No, no, thank you. I'm gonna pixelate this for now as I put in my address. That's my name, yes. And my card number. Yes, take my money. I think that's all. Order and pay. There you go. Your order has been placed. Required for an invoice, license content, personal credit card. Where do they? Oh, download. Here we go. All right, you can now see. This is Apple Silicon. Yes. Download. What do I use for my database? Whenever I do projects live on stream, I mostly use SQLite. If I were to not use SQLite, I would probably reach for MySQL, which is what I use on a daily basis at work. But for the most part, SQLite is just fine for small projects and you know, and such. Well, that's gonna take a while, isn't it? Ooh. All right, I'm gonna leave that downloading. I think I have. What can I do in the meantime? Think. Oh, we can do some live stream settings that I don't have. I can think of a couple. So yeah, let's. I'm gonna leave that downloading there. Let's go back to Windows. There's a couple of things that I need to do. What are you doing there? What is that? Will you try Junie from JetBrain? Is that the AI, the AI companion? I'm gonna try not to use any AI companions for now. Even though they're great, I feel like when I'm doing coding stuff, my brain automatically, I experienced this with code with Cursor. Every time I was going to type something in, I kind of like my brain pauses for the auto completion. Well, let me do this. So I was kind of, I felt like I was getting slower, even though I'm pretty slow already. But it was like that pause, like waiting for Cursor to autocomplete the code and see what I got. And when I stopped using it, I was still pausing when I was coding. I was like typing a few letters and just pausing to see the autocompletion. And I was like, oh, wait, no, I don't have many more autocompletion. So I just would continue. So I felt like even though it is a nice tool, it was kind of, you know, forcing or creating a bad habit in me. So I'm going to abstain from using AI companions for now. I might use them later, or in the meantime, I'll just use, if I need to do something AI related, I'll probably just do it on Gemini, which is the one that I'm paying the pro version for Gemini. So if I need something from AI, I'll just reach for that. How much lighter is SQLite than MySQL? Well, SQLite is just a file. It's just one text file. And the database engine takes care of all of it. So it's way lighter, I would say. All of your database, it's in one .SQLite file. But even though it's lighter and it's very, very, even though it's lighter, it's still fast and scalable if you wanted to. A proof of that is Pinkery, which is Nuno Maduro's social website. It uses SQLite as a database. Oh yeah, I was going to do something. I got distracted for a moment. So, one thing that I want to do here is I want to someone rated yesterday and it took me way too long. Usually when someone rates you on Twitch, the etiquette is to give that person a shout out on your stream, and you usually do that with !SO in chat. But I want to see if I can do it automatically on a raid. So let me see. Twitch actions, we have 1 for ads, 1 for follows. Say 1 for raids, Twitch raid. Default queue, group Twitch. Okay, so the trigger would be Twitch raid. That's the one. 1 is fine. No max. Will trigger on any value above or equal to 1. That's, well, no, yeah, that's fine. Now the sub actions, what do I want to do? As of now, I'll just, because I do have an alert for it, but for now I just want to go to Twitch. Where's chat? Chat. Moderation, guest star, followers, chat. Send message to channel, which is probably going to be SO, and I need the username. I need documentation for this. So let's go to streamer bot. Docs. And API triggers. Twitch. Raid. General. What is raid? Can't find it. Jesus. Raid. Twitch raid. There we go. Okay, so variables, viewers, number. Is that all I have? Oh, Twitch user variables. There you go. Badge count, badges is VIP user. The display name of the user, example, user group, user ID. This is what I need, user. So what I can do is go back to streamerbot and I can do SO, I think SO, right? And let me just check the command. SO. Is it shout out? It's shout out. Shout out and then user, like that. So this will be replaced with the username of the person who rated in, and that's what I need. Okay. And that should be good. Now let me try it out. If I do test trigger or simulate event.
1_11 just followed. You're amazing.
That's an interesting username. 111. Thank you so much for following. You're amazing, dude. Actually, just do random user. If I do okay. Oh, it doesn't do the command. You piece of crap. Can I do a shout out then? Twitch. Chat. Channel. Moderation. Send shout out. That's the one I needed. That's the one I needed. User login. This will allow you to send a shout out to a user login that is specified. So that'll be user, right? Yeah, variables are supported. Let me just clear this one. Delete, 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 delete. Not all, just this one. Delete sub action. Yes. Okay. Simulate event again. All right. And we just gave a shout out to Just Call Me Shane. So that worked. Now, if someone rates in, I automatically give a shout out to them. I don't have a flashy shout out or anything like that, but at least we follow the correct etiquette for Twitch. What was the other thing that I wanted to do? How is that download, by the way? I can see. Oh, it's there. It's done. Okay. Let's keep working on this then. And that's fun. Drag to as a function. Boop. Easy peasy. All right. So technically I can just do PHPStorm now. And launch this baby. Yeah, open it up. You have trust issues, I know. Yes, allow. Import settings from... Should I? Why not, right? So UI theme, dark, of course. Key map. What key maps? Run, build. Huh. Okay. Plugins, the built-in PHP and JetBrains AI assistant. So we have an AI assistant then. I don't have to pay for one. Huh. And then recent projects. Yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it. Import settings. They might give me a free trial? Really? Okay, we'll try the free trial. If it is free, I can use it for a while. Although, okay, yeah, we'll see. PHPStorm all the way. Hey, Thirsty Pooch. How you doing, man? Yep, I'm finally doing the switch. Less routine, more coding joy, all refined JetBrains AI tools right in your IDE for free. Are you guys lighting me? It says free. Why choose JetBrains? Yeah, sure. If it's free, then they need to give me my money back. Uh-oh. Drama. I feel drama. I don't know. It says free. There is Junie, and then there is the AI assistant. Explain to me. Okay, AI. There it is. There's the gotcha. AI free. 30 days of AI Pro included. So they give you a free one with a trial to the Pro version. Unlimited code completions and local AI support, plus a small cloud credit quota. Ideal for getting started on occasional use. What is the cloud credit quota for? In the Pro, which is I have a 30-day trial apparently, it covers most needs with additional cloud credit for extended AI usage. What's the cloud for? If I have local support, why do I need the cloud credit for it? I may end up just disabling if I can, honestly, but sure. More tokens? Okay. You know what I'm gonna you know what I am going to end up, if I can talk, I swear. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm already paying for Gemini Pro. And if I'm not mistaken, there is also Gemini Code. I'll just end up using that, I guess. I haven't used it yet, but I think there's an option for it. And I'm pretty sure there is a plugin that will allow me to use my own AI subscription. I don't know. We'll see. Can use Gemini CLI. Yeah, you see? See? I'm already paying for that. Why not use it? Are you done? Okay. Paid license. Get license. I already have a license. License server. Hello. Oh, I'm in a different account. That's why. How can I switch accounts here? Log out. Me. Log into JetBrains. Continue with Google. There it is. $2025. Are we? Wait. What? Oh, it's month to month. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why I hallucinated that I was paying for a yearly subscription. Nah. Activate. And then, is that it? Yep. We are ready to go. I'm gonna open the gas tracker project for now. Trust and open gas tracker. Trust all projects release. Trust herd folder. Wow, they really shove it in your face, don't they? Yay, welcome to PHPStorm. Yes, it's really small. Can I make it bigger? Downloading. What are you downloading, by the way? PHP 8.2. Language level. Okay. I should not be in 8.2. I should be on 8.4. How can I make this bigger? View. Appearance. Yeah, I tried that. Didn't work. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Command plus didn't work. Let's go 150 for now. Command plus didn't work for some reason. If I do command minus, nope, it's not. I'll have to check the shortcuts for it. But you know what? I had this something. I have something else in mind. If I'm going to do this, I'm gonna do it the right way, or in this case, I'm gonna do it the Jeffrey way. So, what we are going to do? Command? Yeah, no. I meant command and option and comma. What? What do you mean? No, none of that works. None of that works. But what I have in mind is we are going to follow a free series from Latacast, which takes us through the whole process of setting PHPStorm the right way. I have not watched this because I have never used PHPStorm, but and now I feel we must do it. So this is going to be me watching someone else guide me through the process. You were going to suggest that series? Of course. It is a great series. Did I say hi to you on Really Hot Fixer? On Really Hot Fixer? If not, hi. How you doing, man? On Really PHPStorm. Am I in the right stream? Jesus. Yes, you are in the right stream, and you will be from now on. Assistant allows you to switch LLM so you can use Claude, Gemini, etc. Boom. All right, let's watch Jeffrey Way. They changed everything again. I like the pixel art, by the way. This looks great. PHPStorm for Laravel developers.
The stream is now paused for ads.
I'm gonna pause for ads before we begin. Let me just set it up for now. Where episodes? Topics. Continue. Looks like I started watching it at some point. All right. Hold there. I'm gonna lower the volume a little bit because I don't want to deafen you. Good old Jeffrey. That's right. I'm gonna turn off the music, actually. Just waiting on the ads, 20 seconds. All right, ads are over. Let's begin. Wait, I feel like you're not showing. Where are you putting the sound? Oh, here. That's better. Let's do that again. I can't hear anything. Why? Why are you like this? One sec. Camlink audio. Advanced audio properties, Camlink audio. Ah, now I know why. Can't hear anything on my end. Why? Oh my god. Hold on. Let's do it live. What could go wrong, right? It did the same thing that OBS is just, and now I can hear myself twice. Why? Hello. Hello. All right. How about now? Boom!
Hey, everybody. If you're anything like me, and I bet you are,
I don't know why. That made me laugh so hard. Like, it's such a hard intro just to drop a hi, everybody. Okay, sorry. That made me laugh. I don't know why. I'm dumb.
you've likely experimented or toyed around with code editors your entire career. It's kind of what we do. And I don't know, isn't it funny how seemingly every single time each editor figures out one piece, but not the other?
Doesn't he have like the most soothing voice ever? Like for a tutorial. It's just like you just pay attention. Isn't that true? But yeah, that's true. Every single time one editor is like right, like so many things right, but some other things that's like ugh.
And it can sort of be disheartening or frustrating. So close, but not the right fit. However, I am so pleased and grateful to tell you that, I don't know, I think PHPStorm has solved this puzzle. And you know how I know? I know because I no longer find myself on a monthly basis searching the web for that new editor that will somehow magically upgrade my workflow. I've already found it. Game over. Whether it's debugging capabilities or integration with popular community tools like Prettier or PHP Fixer, or dynamic code snippets or multiple cursors or seamless testing or one-click refactoring or search anything or terminals or incredibly powerful Laravel support with the Laravel IDEA plugin, it's all there. It ticks every single box. It blows my mind. And the icing on the cake here, which I can't usually say for traditional IDEs, but with PHPStorm, the new UI is gorgeous. All right, so if you want, you could set up a command center with a visual or an icon for every possible action you might need, or you could strip the UI to the bare metal. The choice is yours, and either way, it's going to look great.
I hope we get to the bare metal.
If I've piqued your interest, and I know I have,
You have.
why don't you come along for a ride? Together, we will press install, and then, one lesson at a time, I will show you all of my favorite PHPStorm features. And there's a lot. All right, let's get going.
Let's. Wait.
Now, of course, the first stop on our journey is the PHPStorm website.
Okay, we've gone through this.
/PHPStorm. And if you're working along, and I hope you are, go ahead and click Download Now.
We did that already.
And enable it. And we'll give that a
And
restart.
that's
and we're
by
off to the
default now,
races. Cool.
which is good.
So now, of course, I could create a brand new project. However, behind the scenes, I installed a fresh copy of Laravel 10 through Composer. So I will open that now. Okay, so let's see what we get out of the box. I will close README, open up my project. Here's my Laravel folder. And yeah, why don't we go into, how about something like app, models, user? And this is what we get. And you know what? To be honest, I think it looks pretty good out of the box. It looks great, in fact. But of course, a key thing to understand with PHPStorm is that flexibility and configurability are of the highest priority. So if you don't like something, remove it. If you don't want to see something, hide it. All of this is configurable to your needs. Okay, so of course in this case, I think the sidebar is a bit too wide, so I will reduce that. And then let's go into PHPStorm settings, or I can hit Command comma on a Mac.
Wait, let me see, because that didn't work before. Command comma, there it is.
And yeah, at this point, let's go ahead and configure your preferred font and size and line heights. So actually, as it turns out, JetBrains Mono is the default, and I really like it.
Editor
but if you prefer
font.
something like Minlow or Plex Mono, any of these, go with what you like. All right, next, I'm going to...
Wait, I do like... was it Fear Code? No, it was Nerd Font. Let me see how that looks. Enable ligatures. I love me some ligatures. It doesn't look like enabled ligatures. How about mono? Nope. Nerd font. I don't remember which one I was using, but you know what? Let's stick with the defaults for now. We'll configure this better.
Enable ligatures, which will give me fancy arrows and things like that. And I will hit apply.
Oh, we didn't.
Next, we can go to color scheme.
JetBrains Mono. Okay, there is the ligatures. That's what I wanted. Ligatures. That's it. Okay, I'm happy.
And yeah, you can play around with this all you want. So maybe you prefer Cobalt. Let's have a look. And this is what we get. And that's an option if you prefer. But yeah, I think dark looks pretty good. Or if you want something unique, you can install a plugin. So let's do that now. I will close editor, open up plugins, and you'll see this is divided into two panels, a marketplace, and then all of the plugins or extensions that you currently have installed. All right, so for example, maybe you like a theme called Carbon. Let's search for...
Wait. Do they have cat poaching? If they have cat poaching, I'm immediately installing cat poach. No? Oh, they do. It's double P. Of course we know we want cat poaching, both icons and theme install. The following plugins aren't coming from JetBrains. Yeah, I know. I just want it. Oh, I need to restart the IDE. Fine, I'll do it. Restart. Me love me some cat poaching icons. All right, let's go again for command comma. Plugins. Where can I change the theme? He's gonna tell me, right?
For it. And there we go. We hit install. Or maybe you prefer a theme called Nord, which is one that I use a lot. Let's install that as well.
Ooh,
Okay,
that one looks
and
good.
Instantly it updates behind the scenes. And now, yeah, maybe you prefer this, maybe you like what we had before. It's a preference thing. So now let's wrap up by making just a few more visual tweaks that, I don't know, that...
Hold on. I want to switch to cat poaching. Is it editor? Theme, appearance, theme, cappuccino. Was it mocha or frappe? Frappe. Perfect. That's my color. That's my editor. Okay. Comment and uncomment code. Use shortcuts. Do I? Oh, I got tips. I don't want tips. Thank you. Oh yeah, Jeffrey, please continue.
Cater to my own quirks and preferences, and you may disagree. So why don't you come along for the ride and see what you think. First up, these breadcrumbs at the bottom, they look nice, but I don't reference them too often, so I'd prefer to hide that. Let's right-click, Appearance, Breadcrumbs, and choose Don't Show. And now it's gone. Next, the same is true for this big status bar at the bottom. It's useful and it can be helpful, but I'm not sure I need to see these things every time I open my editor. I like that I can click here to quickly browse around my project, but I already have a project view to the left, and most of the time I will use Command P to get around from file to file.
True.
So why don't we hide that as well? Now in this case, I don't think I can right click. However, if I go up to my menu, let's go to View, Appearance, and down here, let's deselect the status bar. All right. Okay, moving on. Next, the sidebar here, or the project view, incredibly useful. I will reference it all the time, but it's also something that I would prefer to open and close as needed. So yeah, I can click here to hide the sidebar, or on a Mac, I can hit Command 1 to toggle it, as you see here. And yeah, to be honest, all of this stuff sort of comes...
That didn't work for me. Command 1 did not work for me. Huh. It says Shift Command E. So it's Shift Command E. Okay. So Command 1. Okay, fine. I have it closed.
Comes down to your own personality. So you can play around with this and tweak it as needed. For example, maybe you want to go back to Appearance and you don't want any tool window bars. Well, you can deselect those.
Ooh, yeah. For sure. View, Appearance. Which one was it? Is it 2 window bars? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I like it better that way. I always hide it on VS Code. And I still can do Shift Command E, right? Yes. Perfect.
And notice those to the left and the right are now gone. Or maybe you prefer them. I'll bring them back for now. All right, what else? How about this toolbar here at the top? Very useful, but it's also possible that you may find
tabs.
You don't reach
I don't
for
want
it very
tabs.
much.
No.
So as with everything in PHPStorm, we can customize it. Okay, so yeah, if you don't want to handle version control from that toolbar.
Oh, wait. So I just do right-click. Wait, right-click. Do that again? Do that again?
May find you don't reach for it very much. So as with everything in PHPStorm, we can customize.
Oh, it's the one above. Okay. Customize toolbar. Okay.
It. Okay, so yeah, if you don't want to handle version control from that toolbar, select it, choose minus.
Remove. Okay. This is the one on the left. Project widget. Switch task. On the right, execution, code with me. Let's hide this one. Remove. Oh, I have to hit apply. There you go. What else? Run widget. No, I don't want that one. Or do I? Listen for debug connections. AI assistant. No, get that away. There's nothing in the center. Project widget. I probably do want to keep that. I usually want to remember which project I'm working on. Switch task. I don't know what this is for. Anyway, keep going.
And then hit OK. And now, yeah, that version control panel or dropdown is gone. Maybe we can do the same thing for the project widget. Cool. And honestly, to my eyes, that looks really good. Okay, so now we can do...
Okay. I will trust you.
the exact same thing for the right toolbar. And yeah, just tweak this or pin to it however best fits your own projects. So for example, when it comes to debugging and Xdebug support, I found that in the Laravel community, it's much more popular to reach for things like simple DD functions or even tools like Ray. So if that's you, yeah, go ahead and hide these. You don't need to see them. Maybe we don't need the Code With Me toolbar. Maybe the project settings, you'll just use a shortcut for that. Maybe
project settings, yeah, I was going to suggest that. Project settings, what is it? Remove, search everywhere, remove. Yeah, clean, perfect. I like it.
Search everywhere, you will use a key binding for that. Again, this all comes down to personality and your own quirks. And yeah, to fast forward a bit, for me, I'd probably get rid of almost everything except maybe a run button, which can be helpful. And this is what we see. So yeah, think about it. That maybe took a few minutes or so, and already we have something that is super attractive. But here's the cool thing. Even if we didn't make any of these tweaks, and instead we just stuck with what the new UI provides out of the box, that also looks really good. So you can't go wrong here, is my point. Okay, so now, this final minute, I want to address the super minimalists among you, and I know you're there. If you're the type that wants everything as bare bones as humanly possible, of course you can do so, and I'll show you how. Let's go back into settings, and I'm going to look for tab placement. All right, here we go. So where do you want your tabs to go? Well, why don't we hide them entirely? Again, this is only for the super minimalists among you. Most of you won't want to do this. All right, and now the tabs are gone. Okay, next, if we're taking this to the limits, let's once again go and hide the tool window bars. Okay, next, if you've gone this far, maybe you don't even want those line numbers.
No,
so
I do.
We can toggle those as well. Let's search for line numbers.
I'll keep those.
Yeah, let's see appearance, turn that off, apply the changes, and this is what you get.
And the reason I'm going to keep the line numbers is you're probably not using the default key map. Probably yes. The reason I'm going to keep line numbers is because I will end up installing, and I'm sure there is one, a Vim Motions plugin, because I love my Vim Motions when I'm editing. I'm already used to them, and I'm pretty sure I can use a plugin to install Vim Motions along with, and if I'm using Vim Motions, I'm going to use relative line numbers, which I'm already used to as well. So line numbers stay. Apply, okay. So, why is this not hide? No, don't. Appearance. Did I not view appearance? Toolbar. Wait, view appearance. Why are they here? Let me see what he did again.
Appearance, turn that off, apply the changes, and this is what you get. Minimalists among you. Most of you won't want this. Let's once again go and hide the tool window bars.
Oh, it's gone. Now it's gone. Am I crazy? I feel like they... I'm probably crazy. Okay. They're gone.
Okay, as well. Off, apply the changes, and this is what you get. And yeah, you can take this further if you like, but I think you get the idea. All of this comes down to personality, so make sure that PHPStorm
Taking it further,
matches yours.
I feel the next step will be to hide the code and just code line. But anyway, next episode. Oh yeah, the Laravel idea plugin. Of course. Wait, what? Why are you going into the whole end?
Okay, welcome back. So
Hi.
in the last episode, of course, we installed PHPStorm, and then we applied our initial preferences and configuration. We even learned how to use the plugins section to install custom themes like Carbon and Nord.
I know where he's going.
However, in this case, just to make sure we're all on the same page, why don't we stick with one of the defaults like Dark? I think that's very much geared for and targeted at Laravel developers. The next step is to, once again, open Settings, go into Plugins, and then in the Marketplace section, search for Laravel. All right, this one at the top is what you want. It's so incredibly good. All right, now keep in mind, it is a paid plugin.
Yeah, I know. Laravel idea is right there. Install. I'm gonna use the 30-day trial. Restart IDE. Laravel idea. Let's start a trial. I'll use it for 30 days. I'm gonna end up paying for it, but yeah, if we have a free trial, we always choose free trial. Okay, close.
At the time of this recording, it's around $4.90 a month, but there is a free trial, so you can test it out right now and see if it works for you. But you know what? Again, I can't believe how good it is, so I pay for it without even thinking. All right, let's restart.
I've heard good things.
All right, and immediately I can see some changes here. Right off the bat, I see a Laravel icon to find related files for a user. So in this case, the related classes are the user factory as well as the migration. Okay, so that alone is actually pretty cool. If I'm ever in a model and I quickly want to browse the migration, I can click here and bada bing, bada boom, we're off to the races. Ooh. Okay, so next, if I go to the very top, we will also see a new Laravel menu. All right, lots to do here. I'm going to show you all of it. But real quick, while I have it open, let's go ahead and generate helper code. Okay, so this is going to make PHPStorm just that much more intelligent when it comes to Laravel and also some of the magic that comes along with Laravel. And we'll talk about that more later. Now, until we get to that section, to hold you over, or if you want to get a head start, there is a dedicated website for the plugin at laravel-idea.com. And you can have a look at the feature list here. And yeah, it's extensive. Code generation, eloquent completion, routing completion, request fields completion. So this is a single keystroke to automatically populate your request fields or your validation rules. And the list goes on and on. It's so incredibly good. I don't want to sell it to you, but at the same time, I'm going to sell it to you. You sold it. All right, so at this point, our setup is complete. And yeah, I think we're in really good shape here. Okay, so starting in the next section, one episode at a time, I'm going to show you my favorite PHPStorm features. I'll see you then.
I'm in. Ooh, I feel like they have a bug or something because it goes to the end of the lesson. And I don't think I've
whether
seen
it's
this.
Opening a file or going to a method or a symbol or even triggering a specific PHPStorm action. So let's get started. Now, of course, if I need to go to a particular file, how about the kernel in this case, I could open the sidebar on the Mac, that is Command 1. And yes, of course, I could manually open HTTP and visit my kernel class.
Actually, let's fix this because command 1 does not work for me. How can I... where are the shortcuts? Shortcuts? Nothing. Key map? Is that it? No. Oh yeah, this is it. Key maps. Can I find actions by shortcut? Yes. Shift Command E. Tools project. Oh, you are using VS Code key map. Change that to default. Where do I set everything to default? Oh, VS. Oh, I see. I see it. So classic. IntelliJ IDEA classic. Oh, there it is. Command 1. No, it's apparently the classic one. I'm gonna apply the classic one because their tools project, it's command 1 already. I'm gonna hit apply. Close this. So if I do command 1, there it is. Now it's working. I'm probably going to use a custom key map myself because I believe command P is not a default here. I think it's shift command O. Shift command O for search everywhere, not even that one.
The stream is now paused for ads.
I'm gonna take a break for ads. Not even command P. Command P is something else. So yeah, I need command P for search all the files. I already have a lot of commands engraved in my brain. Shift command O, shift command P, etc. There are several, but we'll get to there. Oh, it's command O. No, that's override. What's the one I'm thinking of? There is not one for search everywhere. How about I create a new one right now? I know I need command P. Add a keyboard shortcut. Oh, I already associated with path input field. I'm not going to use that. Parameter info. Yeah, that's fine. Welcome back from the ads. I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I know I need Control P on my Sublime days. Yeah, I mean, ever since I'm using VS Code, it's been always Command P on Mac, so I need it. That's fine. Just remove the others. Apply, okay. And now if I do Command P, there is my thing. Yeah, love it. You might want to duplicate a key map to create a custom one. Really? I can't just override the one that it's already there? up to me, I'll just override it then. That's what I'm going to do. All right, let's keep on going.
In this way, and that's great. However, you may find that often it's much quicker to instead close the sidebar. So I will hit Command 1 again. And yeah, we're going to visit Navigate, and then notice these right here. So at the very top, we have Search Everywhere, and that's going to include anything. Go to a class, go to a file, go to a symbol, etc.
It's different.
Or we could narrow that down to filter only classes or only files or only symbols. All right, so let's close this out. I will hit Command W. All right.
I duplicated, then made a bunch of changes, but if I ever wanted to fall back to the original, I can. I see. So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's and like he's saying, it's personal preference. Once I set something up and I'm used to use it like all the time, I don't see myself going back to the originals. It'll be more of a impediment in that case. So I know I'm not going back. I'm just going forward. So I'm not going to duplicate. But it is a good idea.
And let's try it again. So again, notice if I go back to Navigate, class on my machine is bound to Command O. So Command O, and let's type kernel. And of course, for Laravel projects, there are two kernel classes, one for your console entry point and one for your HTTP. So this is...
In my case, it's navigate to class is Command N. Oh. So I'm probably using a different... Actually, let me try a different key map. So what does Mac OS look like? Navigate, that's the one. Okay, it's Command O, class, file, Shift Command O, symbol, Command or Option Command O, text, search everywhere is gone. I'm gonna have to put that in again. Search everywhere. Add a keyboard shortcut. Command P. And hit OK. Remove. And OK. Command P. There you go. That's what I wanted. Sweet.
The one that I want. And yeah, you may find that, again, for your day-to-day workflow, this is a much quicker and snappier process. So if I close everything again with Command W, if I know at the top of my head I need to go to kernel, Command O, kernel, and I'm there. Okay, but of course, instead, if I wanted to, I could visit Navigate File, and this is going to look not for the class name, but the name of the file. So notice here, it's matching the file name. And yeah, that's an option as well. But notice right here, we have a tab for classes. So I can switch or tab between classes or files or symbols. And notice if I hover over each one, it'll show me the keyboard shortcut. All right, so if I want to do files, that is Shift Command O, but classes is O. Or I could use the tab key and notice how I can tab between each of the options that I want to filter. So yeah, if you want, you could hit Command O and not even worry about memorizing the other ones. So if I want to look for a file, I would hit Tab and then begin searching. Or maybe you could memorize the All tab, and notice that is bound to Shift, Shift. All right, let's give that a shot.
Weird.
Shift, Shift, kernel. And yeah, of course, that works too. Just once again, keep in mind that with the All tab, you are filtering everything, which may not always be what you want. Okay, so what you might find is that it's useful to default to all, but then if you do need to further narrow it down by class or file.
Lady Leda, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm switching to PHPStorm today, so I'm following the Laracats series from Jeffrey Way so I can install my PHPStorm and set it up. the right way or the Jeffrey way.
File or symbol, at that point you could use the tab key, and that might be a good workflow for you. It just depends. Okay, but now, shift, that works. However,
it doesn't.
After years and years of working with code editors, Command P, at least on the Mac, is sort of ingrained in my fingers.
That's
So
right.
let's see if we can allow for that. I'm going to go up into PHPStorm
way ahead of you.
Or once again, Command comma, and we're going to look at the key map. And yeah, here's all of the key bindings that we can tweak, and we can see what they are currently bound to. Or alternatively, if you know the shortcut, but maybe not what the name is, click on the search bar here, and you can type in the shortcut. So in this case, I will use, Command E. And sure enough, I can see everything that is bound to Command E, and then I can tweak it. All right, so that can be really useful in some cases. But yeah, otherwise, just search for what you want. And in our case, the command is search everywhere, I believe. All right. Let's go to the top, and there it is, navigate search everywhere. So I will double click it, and let's add a shortcut of Command P. Now I bet though when I...
Are you using a Mac for programming? Yes, I have been a Mac user for many, many years now. So yeah, I'm a Mac boy. I'm a Mac fanboy. I mainly love it because of the ecosystem. It is ingrained in me. I have the iPhone, I have the watch, I have the iPad, I have the Mac Mini, so it's easier for me. So yeah, that is my workstation.
Do this, there might be some kind of conflict, so let's give it a shot. And sure enough, it lets us know,
we know.
This is already assigned to something else. So we have parameter info and show hide path input field. Shortcut or so that they're all it takes. So now, why don't we go into one of Laravel's controller? How about the parent controller? And I can see that it uses two traits. Okay, I'd like to learn more about this validates request trait. So I could go up to View, Quick Definition, and notice the key binding, Option Space on a Mac. And yeah, often this is all you need. A quick glance at the file, and then you're done. Or if you want to further edit the file, you could choose this option here or press Command down. There we go. But yeah, again, if your goal is to visit this file, well, there's no need for a two-step process. So how do I go back? Well, I could go back to Navigate, and then right up here at the top, we have back. Go to your previous edit point. And once again, try to memorize these key bindings within reason.
Okay, one sec. I want to practice this because this is an abstract class, which is different from what I wanted. And that's all I have. Let's see. I remember I have the gas tracker. No, let's go to a model. This one. Okay. So if I want to go back, it's command square bracket, which is that one. Okay. Oh, that's... Oop. See? I'm going to need Vinmotions. That the idea that I can just type in, it's weird to me now. Oh, but that is really cool.
All right, now we're back there. This time, I'm simply going to press Command and then click on the file. And what's really great is this works for everything. It works for files or classes or even symbols and methods. So for example, if I browse this, it looks like Laravel calls a get validation factory method. All right, I'd like to learn more. So once again, I will press Command and click on the method name. And there we go. It works. Okay, cool. So now we're getting a little bit more comfortable. We know that,
I'm going to need
I can press Command W on the Mac to close a file, or Control W, probably on Windows. Or I can press Command P to search for any file in my system. So I could do index.php, but in a real project, there might be lots of files with that same name. So yeah, I could narrow it down by directory, or I could even use the first letter of the directory name, like p/index.php. Notice it still finds the same file because it's leveraging fuzzy searching, which is really useful. Okay, so Command P, tab to get around, very useful. I can command click on files, or I can inspect them with quick definition. And notice here that's bound to option space on my machine. And then we also learned if I want to go back, I could go to navigate back, or I can use the shortcut as you see here. And notice it's not just going back to the previous file, it's going to the previous edit point, as you see here.
Oh, that's okay.
So often, yeah, if you're, this is great for source typing actually. If you're trying to learn something, all right, what's precognition? What's going on here? All right, we have this. And yeah, actually on that note, notice that I command clicked on this, but this is already the method definition. So there's nowhere to go. So instead, in those situations, it'll show me all of the usages, all of the places in the project where this method is called. And trust me, in your projects, you are going to reach for this all the time. It's incredibly useful. All right, so maybe, yeah, it looks like.
I missed that quick definition thing. So it's a navigate or a code? Hold up. Gotta go back a little.
What's going on here? All right, we have this file. It's going to the previous edit point, actually. If you're trying to learn something, all right, what's precognition? What's going on here? All right, we have this. And yeah, actually on that note, notice that I command clicked on this, but this is all.
Wait. Where's it? Okay, here.
I can command click on files, or I can inspect them with quick definition. And notice here that
view. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some changes because command space opens what is this? Ray, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change, or I'm probably going to end up uninstalling this. This is just getting in my way. Okay, got it. Mental note, done.
So again, great for source diving. And if I want to consecutively go back, I would use navigate back, or again, the shortcut. And then notice forward is the opposite. So I could cycle back, I keep pressing that, or go forward.
Perfect.
Okay, but what if I want to go back to the previous file, not the previous edit point? Well, of course, I could just manually go to the file. So if I want to go back to user, I can Command P and search for user. Or again, if you prefer tabs, just re-enable them using tab placement. And yeah, then just click on the file. It works great. It's really common. Maybe a tiny bit slower, but it's negligible. Another option, though, is to browse to recent files that you have worked with. So I can go up to View, and yeah, right down here, Recent Files. And again, notice the key binding, Command E. And then we also have Shift Command E for recent locations. Both of these are really, really useful. So let's have a look.
Nice.
I will press Command E. And yeah, now I see a filtered list of only the files that I have recently visited or opened. And then further, if you're working on a new feature and you want to narrow that down to only the files that you have actually edited, you can check this here. Yeah, and it looks like in this case, maybe I've done something to user. I'm not sure. Let's try it. Let's go to Command P, kernel, and let's make a small little tweak. Maybe I will comment this out by pressing Command /. And yeah, now if I hit Command E, show edited files, that is now included in the list. And then also notice how the checkbox itself is also bound to Command E. So yeah, your workflow might be Command E, E again, and then you can visit only the files that you have been working on. Very cool. Again, I reach for this all the time.
Oh, that's really
so my
cool.
workhorses are Command P to search everywhere, Command E to visit my recent files, and then, as we discussed, there's also recent locations, which is Shift Command E. Let's try that. Shift Command E. And yeah, here's all of my recent locations. And yeah, maybe if you're a little more visually oriented, this might be the way to go. Yeah, I was down here. Let's double click, and I'm back there in a flash. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is how to filter tree views. So let's bring back my sidebar with Command 1. And yeah, one of my favorite things actually about PHPStorm is how all of the tree views, whether it's your project tree here or even your settings menu here, all of them can be filtered, and you just start typing. It's really easy. So for example, let's say I want to, I don't know, go to the routes directory here. I could select it manually, or I could type the beginning of routes like this. And notice it instantly selects the first match. If I hit return, it opens the directory, and yeah, further, I could later in the series. Well, I could just type these. Well, I could just type in file.
Okay, we're back. I apologize. I lost connection. That was weird. Okay, I think we're good. Sorry about that. Yeah, too much hype. Too much hype. The hype was too much for the stream. Or OBS, which is being a complete bitch today, to be honest. I blame OBS. Anyway, let's keep going.
And it instantly takes me there. Or at least it takes me to all the places where file watchers are referenced.
So filtering
for example, if I
everything.
go into notifications, yeah, we can see that there. So anytime I need to configure something, yeah, trust me, I'm not manually opening and closing
I was frozen for a bit.
Directories.
Later.
I'm searching.
But I think we're
need.
back.
And yeah, it works everywhere in PHPStorm. If you see a tree, you can filter it. Okay, so the final thing I want to show you is if you often keep the sidebar closed, as I suggested, but again, it's a...
Oh, sorry. Please go back to what you were doing.
It's a preference thing. Do whatever you want. What about situations where you're not entirely sure where you want to go? Or maybe you want to create a file within a particular directory. What does the workflow look like for that? Well, again, you could just open the sidebar in those situations, or I like to do this. I would go to Navigate, and then right down here, jump to Navigation bar, or again, in real life, I would press Command Up. Okay, so notice I see
whoa. What is that? What is that? What? Command Up? Oh my God. Can I filter this? So, oh boy. I can go left and right to move to a different folder. And from here I can go resources. Oh. I'm never going back, dude. How long has it been? Like 30 minutes and I'm already blown away. What the crap? Why didn't you tell me? Like you never did. Like you didn't tell me every single time. Oh, what naive. What a naivete. What an innocent boy I was.
Tree view. So notice I can use the arrow keys to cycle between these. So maybe something in app, maybe it's an HTTP, maybe it's a specific
I know
middleware.
you did.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
the
you
one I
did.
want. Validate signature. And yeah, that's another way you can do it.
But
don't forget, if I bring that back up with Command Up, this is once again a tree view, so I can filter this however I need to, which means I don't have to use the arrow keys if I don't want. If I quickly want to visit, I don't know, trim strings, yeah, in real life, I would type trim, and it instantly filters it down, and now I'm there. Pretty cool. And even better, while I have this floating menu, often you'll find when you're in a certain directory, like let's go back to controller, Command P, controller. Yeah, maybe I want to create a new controller within this directory. Well, one option is to hit Command Up and then Command N for new directly within this folder. So let's create a new file. And what do I want here? What kind of file? A PHP class? Or because I have the Laravel plugin installed, I can generate a controller directly from this floating menu. All right. What do we call it? How about the obligatory post controller or post controller? And yeah, we're off to the races.
Shut
and
the
yeah, to be
fuck up.
honest, I think that's a really cool workflow actually. Command up, Command N to create a file in the current directory.
I mean,
Let's filter it down.
honestly, if I were to create a controller, I would probably go for the terminal to scaffold the controller with most of the methods that I need. But that's cool. That's honestly cool.
To Laravel. Let's do another controller. This can be, I don't know, maybe an invocable contact controller. So I will select single action. And yeah, it works great. All right, so if you need to watch this video one more time, get these keyboard shortcuts ingrained in your muscle memory, and when you're ready, let's move on to the next episode.
Dude! Automatically format code? What is this about? Class generators.
Okay, so next up, why don't we take just a few minutes to talk about some of the options that are available to you when it comes to things like auto formatting, okay? But first, before we get started, give me 30 seconds, and I'm going to make just a few tweaks that you might consider as well. Okay, first up, notice that I have the user class open. However, that's not represented in the sidebar. And sometimes that's what you want, but often I like to see that file within the sidebar. Okay, so if I go up here, I'll select the options, and notice right down here, always select Open File. Okay, so now, for example, if I go to Controller, Command P, Controller, notice it instantly switches and opens that controller's directory, and that's what I prefer. But yeah, you may...
I think I like that. Hold on, let me see. Command 1. Give it a try with Idea Vim and Idea Vim. Is that the plugin for Vim Motions? I mean, Open Down is not. Open Down is sorry. J and K. If I were to use Open Down, it's going to be, if I'm doing Vim Motions, J and K is the way to go. But there is a plugin for, let me check for that plugin. 1 second, now I'm curious. I know I'm getting on a tangent here, but it's something that I need to check. Idea Vim. No? J and K, yes, but navigate auto completion with control space. I'll have to look into that. Why can't I see it? Marketplace, dumbass. There it is, Idea Vim. There's the setup. Shortcuts conflicts can be resolved by using files. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give this a read. I am going to use Vim Motions for sure.
Run into situations where that's not what you want, but I find those cases to be somewhat rare. So in situations like that, just turn it off. And once again, you can select it here, but remember, you can use Command P. So select Open File, and yeah, I can turn it off right from the command prompt there. Okay, very cool. The next thing is, if I'm just browsing around the projects tree here, notice that by default, I have to double click to open a file to the right. Again, I don't want that. So I will select here and choose Open Files with single click.
Okay, that's good. It's in behavior, I think. Open files with single click. Nice.
Okay, so now I only have to click once to open a file.
Perfect.
And yeah, that just feels a little better to me. Okay, so the final change I'm going to make is right here. In recent versions of PHPStorm, they will signal to you whether or not a symbol or a method or a class is being used. And that can be really useful. But again, personally, I prefer to turn that on when and if I need it. So for now, I will turn that off. And I can simply hover over, right-click, and say Hide Code Vision Usage Inlay Hints. And yeah, then right up here, we have the version control as well. Exact same thing. I could hide it, or if you want to configure all inlay hints, you can have a look here. But yeah, it just depends. Turn these on or off as you find them to be useful. Okay, very cool. So imagine, and let's go back to the user class. Yeah, imagine we have some non-standard formatting. For example, maybe this brace is up here on the same line.
The stream is now paused for ads.
Maybe the imports are out of order and not line.
We're on ads. Let's take a quick break. We're probably not going to have time to go through all of the series. Let's just finish the getting started section because I want to get to the PHP class generators and also look at the Laravel idea in depth, I guess. And yeah, I'm going to go through the rest on my own and just finish setting this up. And by Friday, I'll have my beautiful IDE completely configured, probably with the is there an AI powered code assistance, of course, and Xdebug, everything. So yeah, by Friday my IDE will be feature complete, and we will continue with the gas tracker on Friday. Yes. So we'll just watch a couple more sections, a couple more videos from this getting started section, and I'll do the rest on my own. 9 seconds before the ads are gone.
Up properly, something like that. Maybe the namespace is way up here. Why don't we add a function down here? A little tip, I can use pubf. This is a built-in snippet or live template. And then I can say test, enter, enter, and we're all set to go. But another option, if I hide this, is I could press Command J on the Mac, and this will bring up all of the live templates that we have available. So for example, I could look for function again, and yeah, now I can see one version for a standard public method and another one for a static version. So that works as well.
God.
Test.
This
okay,
is beautiful.
Anyways, why don't we also put this on its own line? Again, this is just not following typical formatting style guides like PSR 12. So yeah, if I scroll up and I save with Command S, yeah, by default, PHPStorm doesn't do anything. You have to manually trigger the formatting. And once again, I can use Command P, and I can look for something like format. Here we go, format code and format file, and notice the shortcut here. All right, so I will use the shortcut. And yeah, that works. Notice it has some good defaults out of the box. It doesn't do everything here, but it fixes many of the more glaring issues that you might run into. Okay, now if we want to configure this, I can press Command comma. Let's go into Editor and then right down to Code Style for PHP files. And yeah, notice we can configure, do we want tabs or spaces? What are the rules for when to add a brace? Or if you don't care about this and instead you just want to apply a default, have a look right up here. I can set from, and then we can use a community standard, whether it's PSR 12 or Laravel.
Laravel, of course.
Light variation on that, or CodeIgniter or Symfony or whatever you want. Now, this series is for Laravel developers, so why don't we select that and apply? And now we're off to the races. Okay, so this is great, but it's still not going to work when I save the file. So let's fix that. Once again, Command comma, and this time we will come down to Tools and Actions on Save. All right, this is the panel that we want. All right, so let's talk about a few things. All right, so first, do we want to reformat our code whenever the file is saved? We can turn that on and give it a shot. So now I will hit Command S, and notice it does reformat the file automatically. All right, Command comma, let's go on back. What about optimize imports? Well, if I turn this on, this will do exactly what you think. It will come way up here, and it will optimize these and order them to the best of its ability. So once again, if I hit Command S, there we go. And it looks like I'll have to manually fix that namespace, but that makes sense. But yeah, anyways, now the imports are grouped.
It's very good at discovering hidden class functions. Interesting. Yeah, no, the code diving with this is just awesome.
Not according to their length, but their namespace. So in this case, all of the Illuminate packages are up here, but this one is Laravel, so that goes down below. Why don't we move it here, save the file again, and notice it reorders them. And then finally, this one is an optional trait that you might want to apply to your user class. However, it is commented out, so it's separated. But keep in mind, because we have optimize imports checked, if we had it like this, because we're now importing it, but I'm not actually using the trait, as soon as I save the file, it will be removed entirely. And again, there might be situations where you don't want that. So you just have to decide whether or not to turn these things on for your own projects. Okay, next up, rearrange code. Again, this is what you would expect. So imagine you have something like this. You have a field that for some reason is below one of your methods. Well, again, that's pretty non-standard. So if I do have rearrange code turned on, yeah, as soon as I save the file, as you see here, it will adjust the order of your constants and your fields and your methods to be a bit more traditional, as you see here. Okay, cool.
Love
All
it.
right, next we have run code cleanup. Let's turn that on. Yeah, this is one of the huge wins from using an intelligent IDE. So we can configure the inspections to give you an idea. And yeah, for PHP files, these are all just little tests that the editor will run to confirm, are you doing this in the right way? Could this be replaced with that? Is this a bad practice? Things of that sort. So for example, I don't know, why don't we take a look at code smells? Yeah,
Code
situations
smells.
where maybe array search could be replaced with a simple in array. What else do we have here? Yeah, even things like this. Are there situations where preg match can be simplified? There's no reason paying that tiny cost if you could instead use something like string contains. How about this one? Preg split can be replaced with explode.
No
All right,
shit.
let's have a look and see that in action. Let's imagine we accept a value here, and maybe the default value is, some value, and then we're going to split that up into an array of words. Okay, well, you could do something like preg split, where you have a space as the separator, and then we compare that against the value itself and save the segments. But now notice the squiggly lines here indicating our code check. Preg split can be replaced with explode, which is cool. But also, we have a warning icon that will bring up all of the problematic parts of the current file. And yeah, just keep in mind, for any of these, if they are not appropriate or relevant for your project, of course you can disable them so that they don't fire.
Okay.
But yeah, in this case, it looks like we don't have a return type declared. Now, if I wanted to, I could right-click and then say Show Quick Fixes. But also notice, once again, I could instead, on a Mac, use Option Return. All right, so let's give that a shot. Option Return. And notice right now my cursor is directly on top of the squiggly lines there. All right, and yeah, here's our quick fix. Add void as the return type. Yeah, notice PHPStorm is smart enough to see, well, at the moment, you don't return anything from the method, so it seems like void is probably what you want. All right, next up, let's do another one. I can select this, or again, I can just hover over the issues. In this case, we have an unused local variable segments. So yeah, it's
Best
letting me know, hey,
$10
this is superfluous. You run this code,
I've
but
ever
you never
spent.
do anything with it. So in this case, I bet if I run the quick fix, it removes the line entirely. And it does. Okay, and then finally, here is our code cleanup, option return, and yeah, it offers to swap that out with a call to explode instead. And actually, real quick, while we're here, notice these sort of mocked named parameters. That might be how you refer to it. You might find it very useful or maybe a touch annoying. Again, it's just a preference thing. But again, you can turn that off if you don't want to see them. I can say disable hence for method explode or disable hence entirely. And now they disappear.
I like
decide for
hints.
yourself if
I
you want to
love
keep
hints.
those turned on. I sometimes go back and forth. Okay, so now, yeah, this is all well and good, but I think it would be unfortunate to finish this video without at least a small discussion around Laravel Pint. So let's have a look now. If we visit the Pint documentation on the Laravel website,
Pint mentioned.
yeah, we can see it's an opinionated code style fixer for minimalists. So it's effectively a wrapper around a tool called PHPStorm that's just kind of easier to use and optimized for Laravel development.
Yes.
So it's possible that if you're switching over to PHPStorm, you might already be using a tool like Pint. And of course, if you want to use that in PHPStorm as well, you can. I'll show you how. The first step, if you're working along, is to install Pint into your project. So I will do that now.
Hold on. How can I open a terminal from here, by the way? Apply, okay. Command F12. Is that it? Nice. I'm going to change that, but nice. Path customization, project default. If you buy the yearly subscription, the price drops a couple of times depending on how many years you have it. Plus they have a bundle with Laravel idea. Maybe I'll switch. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna start with a monthly subscription because I don't really have the budget for a one yearly payment as of now. But I'm pretty sure at some point I'm just gonna switch to yearly and save some bucks. But yeah, thank you for the tip, by the way. Project default interpreter was added to path. $60 a year. Wait. Okay. What I can do is, instead of buying the next game next month, I'll switch to a yearly subscription and pay maybe $60, $70. Or maybe I'll get both. Why not? Composer require Laravel Pint. It starts at 100, but after 30 years, it drops to 60. Okay. Good to know. Well, like I said, I don't have the budget right now, but I'm going to switch within a couple of months, maybe. Just pay a couple of months, just stay on monthly for a couple of months. I'm sure I'm not going to switch. Right now, there is so many good stuff that I don't know how I've been living this whole time without. And I feel so stupid not having switched before that I'm pretty sure I'm never going back. So yeah, I'll switch to yearly as soon as I have the bandwidth. But holy crap. Keep going.
All right. And next, you can see that we can run Pint by referencing vendor, bin, Pint, and then optionally the path to a directory or a file name. Okay, let's go back to PHPStorm. Okay, so this time I will hit Command comma.
Oh, I know. The thing is, hold on, let me read it. PHPStorm comes with data grid, by the way, so you are paying for data grid. If you are paying for data grid, you can drop that for PHPStorm. Here's the thing though. I already use data grid, but it is a license from my job. So it's like a separate license, and it's in a corporate account. So I can't really use that, but I already use data grid on a day-to-day basis. So I can use data grid. It's on a separate license, but I can use it on my own too. So.
And set up a file watcher. And notice at the moment, we don't have any registered. So let's hit configure.
Hold on. It was, there. Then it is command comma, file watcher, configure. Yep.
And let's create a new one. And yeah, this is going to do exactly what you think. It watches a file for new one. And yeah, this is going to do exactly what you think.
All right.
It watches a file for changes, and then it triggers any kind of program that you need. So why don't we call this Pint? We are going to watch PHP files. Where are you? Let's use the automatic filtering. There we go. The scope is going to be the project files. That's fine. And then what tool are we going to run? And yeah, if I want, I could select the folder icon here and then browse into my vendor bin directory and choose our Pint executable. That would be fine. Or if I want this to be dynamic, I can also use PHPStorm variables. So I could delete that and add a variable or a macro. It looks like they call them. All right, and I'm not sure what it's called. Let's just look for something like project. Yeah, this is what we want. The directory of the project file.
Holy shit. Project file dir. There it is.
And that's what we want. All right, and notice here's the syntax. The variable name or the macro name begins and ends with a $sign. Okay, arguments. Well, in this case, the argument should be the path to the file. So once again, let's see if we can just find some kind of like relative file path. Let's see. File path. Yeah, nobody expects you to memorize all of these. Yeah, maybe this one. File path relative to the project file. Yeah, so
there it is. File relative path.
if I save, app/model/user, this would give me app/model/user, and that's what we want. Okay, next, after the program runs, should we refresh any files in our editor? Yes, the same file. So I will paste that again.
Okay.
And then finally, what is our working directory? Well, again, that's the project files directory. Okay, and then under advanced options, do we want to auto-save edited files to trigger the watcher? No, we don't need to do that, but I do want to trigger the watcher on external changes. All right, I think that looks pretty good to me. So now we've set up a file watcher. If I come back to actions on save, you'll see that it's turned on. Okay, so this is good, but we actually have a problem. Currently, whenever I save a file, we are actually formatting the code 2 times. Think about it. Right here, I click save, and then PHPStorm will reformat the project or the code or the file. But then right down here, the file watcher picks up on the change, and then it references the Pint program, and that formats the file as well. Okay, so of course we don't want to do that. Just pick one or the other. So if we are going to stick with Pint, we should disable formatting for PHP files. So I will deselect that, apply it, and yeah, I think we should be
Wait, do it again.
So if we are going to stick with Pint, we should disable format.
Oh, okay. So where's reformat code? Ah, here it is. PHP
adding for PHP files.
Okay.
So I will deselect that, apply it, and yeah, I think we should be good to go here. All right, so let's go into anything. How about back into our controller? And then, yeah, we'll add a function here, test, but this time we will screw up the formatting as you see here. All right, so now if we did everything correctly, when I save the file, it's going to trigger the Pint executable, and we should see a little update.
Let me see. Okay. Let me try this. And Command S. Yep, there it is.
I don't know if you saw it, but it was there in the bottom right corner. It calls Pint. Pint is triggered on the current file, and then we refresh the file to reflect the change. So once again, I'm going to slow this down, have a look in the bottom right, and there we go. It's working. All right, so granted, we covered a lot there, but yeah, this is core stuff to your workflow. So make sure that you optimize and configure this precisely to your needs.
Good.
All right, next up, why don't we have a look at code generation? Okay, so for an example, imagine that you need to generate, say, an eloquent model. All right, well, traditionally, in a different editor, you might switch to your terminal. So you could do it like this,
Yeah.
PHP artisan make model.
That's what I do.
And how about a model for, I don't know, an activity feed? So we will call it activity. All right, and that looks good. Now, of course, I'd open up app, models, activity, and we're off to the races. And yeah, this is sort of the traditional approach. It works great. Now, first, keep in mind that PHPStorm does have a built-in terminal that you can reach for. You can turn it on in a few ways. Go to View, Appearance, and we could enable tool window bars. And yeah, now I can toggle many things. And right down here at the bottom is the terminal, and that works great. Another option, and actually real quick, let's turn that off. Another option would be to manually select View, Tool Windows, and then come down to Terminal. Next, we could use the Search Anywhere prompt. By default, that is Shift-Shift, but we rebound that to Command-P, and I could look for Terminal in that way. Or, of course, we could use the keyboard shortcut. And it looks like by default, that is bound to Option F12. But, of course, once again, you can bind that to any keystroke you want. Just hit Command, comma, go to your key map section, and then you can bind it here. All right, very cool. So anyways, this is fine, and it's very much a traditional workflow. However, let's delete this. I'll hit delete. I will select the current directory, press Command-N, and yeah, have a look right down here. We have this Laravel menu for Laravel-specific file templates or generators. But now just keep in mind, if you're not seeing this on your machine, of course, go to your settings, visit the plugins area, and make sure that you have the Laravel plugin installed. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, anyways, let's do it again. Command-N. This time, I'll just start typing to filter the results. I'll hit Enter, and let's generate a model. Okay, we called it activity, right? And notice by default, it has all of these selected, which means when I run this command, it'll create the model, but also a migration, also a factory, also a JSON resource, all the things that you might be used to when working with Laravel. But yeah, if you don't want that, just disable these. And this would give you a simple activity model, as you can see here. All right, so we have a little pop-up. Do we want to add this to Git? No, and don't ask again. Great. Also notice when we run that command, behind the scenes, the plugin will automatically update its helper code, which is great. Okay, so let's do this workflow again. So of course, you can manually select the directory, but like I discussed, I will often keep that sidebar hidden. Instead, I could either use the floating menu by pressing Command up, and yeah, I could just find it in this way, app, models, and then Command N with that directory created. Or there is a plugin specific generator that we can reach for. Let's go to the top and you'll see a Laravel menu. And yeah, we'll select code generation, or again, notice there is a shortcut, Shift Command comma. So let's try that now, Shift Command comma. And yeah, if I type create, you'll see a massive list of all the various Laravel things that we can generate. So yeah, if I want a model, I could type create model, or really just model would be fine. All right, so once again, the workflow would be on my machine, Shift Command comma, model, return, activity, and this time, why don't we populate the fields? And this is especially useful if we also want to have it take care of our migration. And then why don't we also ask it for a factory, a controller, and a form request? Okay, so what might we need for activity? Well,
Holy crap.
probably a user ID, and that would be a unsigned big integer. I can hit tab and space to add more. So that way I don't have to use the mouse if I don't want to. And who knows, maybe activity has, I don't know, a body or a message. Why don't we stick with message? And that can even be text if we need to. And yeah, that's fine for now. So let's go ahead and run this.
Oh my God.
And there we go. So now, yeah, think about it. It took only a few seconds to run a command that generates our activity model. It creates the migration file. It populates the schema for a migration file. And yeah, once again, if I go to the terminal and I run git status, here's all of the other things it created. So it added a controller, an activity request, form request, the model, a database factory, and the migration. And yeah, you'll even notice if I go into activity controller, it will populate this. And again, you can delete this if you want, but it'll give you a basic idea of what you probably want. So in this case, we have a standard resource for displaying activities. So if I add a new activity, that will accept a form request, and notice again, it will populate that for you. And yeah, like I said, this is incredibly helpful stuff. Trust me, you're going to reach for it all the time. And then also keep in mind, if I open up, say, my model,
creating that via the terminal would have been 4 or 5 times the time. And it's just one freaking dialogue. Oh, for the love of God.
Well, have a look at this little Laravel icon here. If I select it, now it'll show me all related files for this model. So in this case, it would be the database factory as well as the migration. And that can be really...
And I know that you're all saying it. No shit, Sherlock. We know. We've been using it for years. We've been trying to tell you, but this is all new for me. I am excited for this, and I am not going to hide it. I mean, I know this is like old news. Everybody knows. Everybody knew except me, but I'm in now. I am in.
Helpful. All right, let's do another one. Let's use the obligatory, let's close these out, the obligatory post model. All right, Shift Command comma. Let's generate a model for a post, tab, tab. A post consists of a title. Let's space that another one. How about a body? And that will be text. And then a post also belongs to an owner. So why don't we call that user ID? And that will be a big integer. Okay, why don't we also create, in this case, let's say I don't need a form request, but just the migration, factory, and controller. All right, there we go. So here's our migration. If I want, I could bring back the terminal and run PHP artisan migrate, and that'll whip it up on the fly. All right, let's go to the post model, Command P, post, and that looks good. Why don't we switch to the factory, and we can review and tweak it however we need to. So in this case,
one thing that it doesn't do, and I don't know if that's I don't know if there is an option to make it do it, is the auto fillable, like the mass assignment, the fillable property. In fact, let me see if there is an option there. So if I remember correctly, it was Shift Command comma model, create a model. There it is, add fill-level array. Okay, never mind. Fuck it. It has everything. Shit. All right. Okay. All right. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes. I know there is still one video to go, but we get the idea. This is awesome. This is my home now. This is where I live. This is my life. I'll just take some time to go through all of this myself. I will set up the vMotions off stream, and next Friday this will be my IDE, and we will never speak of it again. It is as if I never not used it. But yeah, for now, let's just cut it off here. If you're watching on YouTube, the stream will end here. We'll see you back on Friday. If you want to hang out a little bit more, you can jump over to Twitch, where I'm going to switch content and I'm going to play some video games. So the link is in the description if you're on YouTube. So hop on over to Twitch and follow me there. I'm going to snooze those ads if I can. I can't. Never mind. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, YouTube. And thanks to you, man. We'll see you on Friday. Bye, YouTube. Bye.